Morning. It's day 24, Friday, March 20th, and leaving Pecks Corner Shelter. About 13 miles today, I think, to the Cosby Knob Shelter. Last night there was a full house at this shelter, like 2 or 3 guys in hammocks, but the rest of us, probably 3 tents outside. The rest of us were jammed in like sardines in the shelter, but it all worked out fine. And we had a roaring fire going in the shelter fireplace, so it was quite nice. I slept almost 10 hours. Feel like I'm back in trail mode. And as you saw yesterday, it's like a almost half-mile hike down from the AT to get to the shelter. So what does that mean? A half-mile good morning hike up, and it's already started. So I'm gonna switch off and get this done. I'll talk to you later. Have a good day. Well, it's about 1 o'clock, about 5.5 miles in. Just finished lunch at the Tricorner Knob Shelter with a good big group of people. We're kind of all stayed at the same shelter last night and all staying at the can't remember the name of the shelter we're staying at tonight. But anyway, that's because of the regulations here. You have to stay in a shelter, and then if the shelter's full, you can camp next to it, but you can't do what they call disperse camp, like camp away from a shelter, because they want to minimize the impact. So, sorry I didn't video anything, but there was just too many people. You can see the shelter down there. But good group of people, and some people that actually quite a few that I've hiked with before the big break that I had, and we all have stories about what we did for the weather break, where we stayed and such. And if I told somebody, I said, this feels like summer camp for adults, because we're just kind of out here hiking around and talking to each other and having a good old time. Look at there. This looks like places to tie your horse up, which is strange because I don't think horses are allowed on the AT. There might be another trail that comes up there. So I've got my spikes on today again. It's been needed them, haven't really needed them, but they sort of provide traction, make things a little easier. This is a Balsam Mountain Trail. Goes to Mount Sterling, I think, which is another high point. Well, we gotta go this way. Follow the white blaze. Today has been really good. I hiked with a young woman who's also a trail runner. And so we just were chit-chatting away about trail running and racing. I told her all about some of my 100-mile finishes run-ins, and talked about shoes, nutrition. It was really fun. I'm sure it bored the hell out of people around us, but and because of it, we were just cruising along. Most of the morning was a climb, and I didn't hardly feel it. We were like just moving, and they all stopped at that shelter for lunch, like a true sit-down lunch. And I don't normally do that, but I decided to go ahead, and I had Thai chili tuna fish on like a soft tortilla, and some trail mix, and I drank probably a good half liter, maybe 3/4 of a liter of water, because one thing I didn't do while I was talking to my trail runner friend was drink enough water. So it was probably good that I stopped and got caught up in water, and then filtered more. So I got a good 1.5 liters with me for the rest of my day, which will be more than enough. As you can see, this is the most snow we've had all day, I think. So I'm glad I got my spikes on now. Anyway, that's kind of how the day is going. It's was like blue sky, but it's clouding up now. I got a little warm, so I put my shorts on. Took off a layer underneath my sun hoodie, and I feel good now as long as I'm moving. I get a little chilly when I stop, but I should be good for the rest of the day. And I think I only have like 7.5 miles to the next shelter, and I'm done for the day. So this is going to be an early day. The next shelter after that would make for a 20-mile day, and that's too much. And given that you have to stay at a shelter, there's nothing in between. So 7.5 miles it is. Should be early day, which is probably do me good. All right, I'll check back when I have something noteworthy. Thanks for watching. So we are on the shoulder of Mount Guyot, which is up there. And this, I think, is the second highest point in the park. 6646, if memory serves. And you can see much more snow up here. We're also on a northwest facing slope, so you get less sun here. Yeah, much more snow. It's also, we're about 6,300 feet right now. It's definitely a little cooler. I am appropriately dressed for my activity, but as soon as I stop, I get chilly. So if I were to stop for even 5 minutes, I'd have to put a jacket on. But by dressing this way, I don't have to worry about sweating, which also is good because it keeps me from having to drink so much and get dehydrated. And I am walking on ice right now. This is what the climb out of Newfound Gap yesterday morning was like. It was very icy. But at least there's been many people here to tamp down the snow, so it's not sinking or anything. None of that post-holing nonsense. I think I definitely need to drink more. I got some cramps overnight in my calves and my inner quads on both legs. Pretty mild, but they were definitely there. And all day, my left hand has been cramping. So I probably need to drink more. Hi. Smile, you're on YouTube. At least next week you will be. Dish Rag Hikes. This is my channel. Have a good day. Fellow backpackers, we're now going to be famous. No, but like this hand is cramping. And I know from experience that that's dehydration. Because like a muscle that you haven't been really using, cramping like that, it sort of points to like being dehydrated all over and not just a overuse of the muscle. So I put another noon in my second bottle of water. So I'm going to try to get that down before I get to the end of the day. That'll be a half liter with 300 milligrams of sodium. That should help things. All right, time to walk on and camel up, as they say. So I don't know what's going on in this section. Clearly there's been a lot of blowdowns. I'm thinking this might be a result of Helene back in September of 24. But also, a lot of these trees are dead or dying. And I wonder if that's from the hurricane or maybe something else is going on, like gypsy moth or something else. I think that might be Klingman's Dome over there, or maybe that on the horizon there. Probably that one. But this section is really kind of beaten up. One of those people with the Appalachian Mountain Club yesterday, back at that ice water spring shelter, said that once we got out of the Smokies and headed towards Hot Springs, we'd really start seeing effects of Helene. And I know Hot Springs got hit really hard. So that'll be interesting and sad. I know the clubs have done a tremendous amount of work to try to get the trails back in shape. There's a guy I follow on X that posts a lot about his trail work. I think his handle is Mountain Squid. Look him up if you have any interest. Lots of hard work over the last year and a half. Alright. Let's see what's around this corner, and I'll probably shut it down. Looks like it might open up a little bit here. Well, sure as I thought, I drank about almost a quarter liter of water, and yep, that hand cramp's going away. So that's how that works, for me at least. Yep. More snow here. It could be more like a northern facing slope. And no snow down in the valley. Down low. I think you can see Gatlinburg over that far ridge. Alright. This stuff's gonna be here a while. Might get in the 60s and maybe even 70s by the end of the weekend, but I don't think it's gonna go anywhere for a while with these colder nights. There we go, there's the view. There you go. See if we can see Kauai from over our left shoulder here. gone past it. Look at that pine right there. Just still hanging on. Linda hasn't taken him out yet. This is really interesting. These two stones laid in that fashion. I wonder if they put them there or if that's just natural. But also, look at the view. Very nice. It's just back there talking to an ATC Ridge Runner who said that he had picked up, I don't know how much trash at Davenport Gap and a couple other places, but he said in addition to the trash and all the gear he was carrying, first aid and a bunch of other stuff, he had 45 pounds on his back. He was out there working hard. I really appreciate that. It's fun to talk to him. It's like the snow is cleared up a bit. Getting a little sun. I was getting a little chilly talking to him. He also said that the shelter for the night, which he reminded me the name Cosby Knob, is going to be jammed full of people, and there aren't many good campsites around it, so it's going to get interesting. Maybe I can get there and get a spot before it fills up. And there's the view. We're sort of skirting this ridge. My feet are soaked. I've got wool socks on, darn tough wool socks, so they don't feel cold or anything. I don't tend to blister, fortunately. So as long as my feet get dried out before I go to bed, I'll stick the socks in my quilt with me. Hopefully they'll dry somewhat in the morning, overnight. And I got a fresh dry pair in my backpack I can wear tomorrow and let these, maybe put them on top of my pack and let them dry out tomorrow while I'm hiking. But this is kind of what it's like. Kind of like that day almost a month ago, that first day, where it was just splish splash, take a bath. They really don't like for you to widen the trail by trying to get out of the mud and water, because it just creates erosion on the side. And so I just plow through them. I don't care, as long as my feet aren't super cold. Even then, if you keep moving, your feet will be fine. All right, signing off for now. Thank you. These trees uprooting seems to be a theme. That's huge. I'm guessing that was one storm that brought those down. All the wind coming across this ridge basically upended them. Amazing. Some more. Maybe this is Helene. On my last climb before the Cosby Knob Shelter. And this is a really nice climb. It's not too hard, not too steep. There's a little bit of snow, but not much. And it's really pretty with all this moss, even though it's cloudy. I'm really enjoying it. I feel super good. Really strong at the moment. So maybe eating lunch is a good thing. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit stronger as the miles tick by. Excuse me. So tomorrow we leave the Smokies. We get to Davenport Gap, and then a little bit further there's the northern entrance to the park at Interstate 40. And there's a new staircase there up a side of the mountain that I think the Carolina Mountain Club rebuilt over the past year. So really looking forward to seeing that. They made a video about its construction, and I'll put that in tomorrow's video after we see that. More destruction. More up there. The wind is an awesome force, not to be trifled with. Okay, I'll try to give a little video coming into the shelter. Thank you. So the ridge runner that I talked to a while back told me about this tree. Look at that thing. And those cuts you see right there, all up in there, he just made today. So he had a nice folding handsaw on him. So you can see how much work he's done today, just today. Hiking all through here and then cutting all this up and piling it up there. Man, thank you, dude, very much. It makes life a lot easier. He said that people were like having to go upslope and around the tree and come down the other side, and that's, for the hiker, that's strenuous and it can be dangerous because you're hopping over other stuff. Yeah, they would have had to come right down through there, which isn't bad, but it also causes erosion where you definitely don't want it. So that's why it's important to be able to clear stuff like that. And you couldn't do that without guys like that ridge runner and trail maintainers. So hats off. I'm thinking this is the end of this climb. I'm hoping this is the end of this climb. I'm kind of done climbing for the day. I'm kind of ready to get these shoes, wet shoes and socks off and get my sandals on. All right. So we've reached the Cosby Knob Shelter. Just a short little walk off the AT. which is much appreciated. And hopefully the spring will be close by. I won't have to walk a country mile down the mountain to get water. I really appreciate that. There's already a crowd here. There's a privy. And here's the shelter. All right. Thanks for watching today. Bye.